Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world to Added Time FPL Fantasy Premier League, where we look at the English Premier League players of the week, calculate our points, and try and find a way to beat Nate the Great on top of our Added Time Premier League.
He's pulling away.
He's always on the top year after year, but we can do it. This week, we're focusing on Game Week 28, which has a double game week coming up. So I'm Mike, this is Nate, and let's talk Fantasy Premier League football. Nate, what type of week have you had fantasy-wise?
I feel like we need a Sky Sports intro after that. Welcome, just something to roll afterwards. It was so good. No, good. I have prepared for this double game week coming up, Game Week 28, with my Luton players that I brought in a few weeks ago. And they'll also help me for the blank game week next week, which I'm planning to try and navigate without a free hit. So we'll see how that works out. But I had a very rewarding Game Week 27, scoring 87 points, which was massive. Last-minute decision to captain Haaland over Saka just because of his form against Luton in the week. It didn't prove to be too painful because Saka came off at halftime. He probably would have done more. But, you captain Saka, so you got points for him at the end of the day. But otherwise, Foden delivered massively. Son delivered, took him out for KDB, paid off beautifully. My Bowen pick, he got 5, it's okay. But everyone else pretty solid. Areola with the penalty save. You called it. You said you're not playing keeper roulette. You said you just leave it in Areola.
Don't do it. It'll just end to depression.
And Dubravka got 7.
53%. No, more than that. He was the most benched player in FPL. Areola.
Everyone hates
Everybody's sitting there looking at. And I told you guys, if you do not play bench roulette with your goalkeeper, choose one, stick with it, roll with the punches. Yeah. And Areola is the one I'm going to stick with for the rest of the season, I would say.
Great penalty save, 13 points for a goalkeeper is nothing to be shy about. I mean, he did better than our triple captains earlier this week, so this month. How's
my budget pick of Bradley with 8 points?
Yeah, I said to you, Bradley was a shout, and I was a bit jealous about it. He is a very good player, and I think you made a good decision bringing him in. Also, doubling off the back of that was Kelleher with a clean sheet for 3.7, which we called Kelleher Allison play is making waves. So, I mean, Liverpool are going to win not only with goals, but by keeping clean sheets. So we got the clean sheet 9-point bonus, 9 points in total for Kelleher for a 3.7 goalkeeper. So you should get on that shit after your free hit.
Not only that, but there are suggestions that Allison is out for longer than what was thought. His injuries it's not good. So Keller seeming like a better pick week by week, and with the 9 points to back it up now, and Liverpool's defense handling. I mean, they have some tough fixtures coming up, especially this weekend.
Yeah,
so
they do. I would look for after the blank game week, seeing if you can bring him in, because I mean, for 3.7 million, that someone that's going to start for such a team like Liverpool, you have to, because those that are going to wildcard later, or those that have some free transfers, you should bring him in to balance your team if you want to afford Haaland again later. But he's a good pick.
Talking about goalkeepers, if we're going to talk about goalkeepers and last week to combine the two, do you know who the best performing goalkeeper in fantasy is? It's David Raya from Arsenal, right? And I'm thinking very seriously, I'm tired of Estupinan. I'm tired of Matty Cash. I'm holding Cash for the blank game week in 29.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of doubling up on an Arsenal defense because Saliba is one of the top defenders. Raya is one of the top goalkeepers. Bringing in one of those two alongside Gabriel for the rest of the season could lock in a lot of defensive points. And that's saying we're bringing in 2 centre-backs from Arsenal that are still scoring points. So I'm just looking at ways to tighten up my defense to use my money more effectively. And I'm thinking that doubling up on, since I don't trust any City defenders as much as I trust Arsenal or Liverpool defenders right now, I'm thinking of doubling up on Arsenal, whether it's goalie and defender or 2 defenders. I think that's the way to go for the end of the season. And there are some quietly good picks that are lower budget. White is doing well. He scored 13 points this week. They have a player called Kiwior, and he came on and he scored another 10 points for his 90 minutes in there. So all of this is looking to the future, though. We want to look at post-game 30 because Arsenal have Brentford, then they blank, and then they have Man City.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about game week 31 when they play Luton and going forward that I might want to bring in some Arsenal reinforcements.
Yeah.
Bring in the Gunners.
Bring in the guns. It's a good
Big
shout.
guns.
It's a good shout because it's at the end of the season. There's only a couple weeks left in game weeks wise. So you got to think your top 3, your top 4 that are fighting for the title. You got to think, okay, who do you need to bring in for those? Because when people start fighting for titles, they start to play better. They start to keep clean sheets. They start to score 2, maybe 3 goals. So it becomes real. Not that it wasn't before, but it's now it's like the title is within touching distance for a lot of these teams. So it is worthwhile to think about.
Those 3 teams at the top, City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, because they're so close, you can't afford to lose a game. No. You just can't afford it. You got to win from a very defensible position because everybody's within touching difference of that.
And also, it will come down to goal difference at the end of the day. If there's tied points, it'll come down to goal difference. So you also don't want to concede goals.
Yeah. So I think trusting in the defenses, and like I said, I don't really trust anyone in City's defense right now. Like if Rodri was a centre back, he'd be
premium.
Bank.
Yeah, agreed. Rodri just needs to move on FPL.
Do you think we made a mistake, or is there anything we could have done to better pinpoint that Watkins and Foden were the better captain choices last week?
Well, the thing is, it's hard because Haaland trolled everyone in the universe by scoring 3 or 4 goals against Luton in the weekend. So you think, okay, man's firing, and it's a derby. So like, it's Captain Haaland.
And then he misses the most clearest shot.
To be fair, I'm sure he went drinking with Jackson the night before. Something must have happened.
It was Jackson and Nunes.
To be fair, Nunes scored. He actually scored in overtime for Liverpool. So there you go. But the thing is, it's like you would have assumed Haaland, and technically he would have scored more points than Foden. He just missed his opportunities. So that's just unlucky, I suppose. You could argue for Foden. I would say we did mention him. But as a main pick, also, you're looking at Saka because of his form. And he did score again. He just came off because of illness. So, again, he would have potentially outscored Foden as well. I think it was just a bit of an unluckiness coming into the game week. But for those of you that did captain Watkins and Foden, fair play.
I would never captain Foden because there's too much where's the goals coming from. But with Watkins, I'm just looking back. If we had captained him for the last 7 game weeks, we would be ahead of him. If I had captained him, I would be ahead of you.
Yeah.
Because he's, since the game against Newcastle in 22, 7 points, 18 points, a blank against Man United for 2 points, but then it's 13 points, 9 points, 13 points. That was all doubled. That would have made me catch up to you. So I think that we've been sleeping on Watkins, and he's been slowly this sleeper captain choice that is now proving himself. And I think we have to seriously consider Watkins now going forward because of that.
Considering Watkins, I think, is good because someone wants to play in the Euros. And I think Watkins is making a very good case to pick him for the Euros. I'm not too sure what Harry Kane's been doing in Bayern. I'm pretty sure he's still scoring goals. I haven't really kept up with it too much. But, I mean, clearly Watkins thinks he can take the number 9 away from Kane. And he's young enough, I suppose, to become that next forward for England. So, I mean, if you think about it, just imagine Foden, Watkins, and Saka up front for England. Like, how do they not win the Euros? Like, surely. But yeah, he's a good pick.
On Harry Kane, just to look at the Bundesliga and Champions League, I saw that he actually won them the Champions League reverse fixture yesterday, which means Bayern is through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
Well, there you go.
And I have a young bet with a individual that
should not be named.
that Bundesliga and Bayern will win Champions League, even though they're doing horrible. Tuchel's going to get sacked at the end of the season. It's already confirmed. Bayern is not going to win the title for the first time since I think like Klopp or something. There's a lot of things bad that's happening at Bayern, but I know Thomas Tuchel in the Champions League, they're like this. Okay?
Yeah.
You got to the final
with Chelsea.
You got to the final with PSG first.
Yeah.
failed there. He won it with Chelsea, and now he's most likely going to get to the final with Bayern. Anything can happen in the final, so don't
So
count him out.
Tuchel is a
Harry Kane-
manager that wins a final and still gets sacked. This is the trend, which is quite
Imagine
sad.
you win the Champions League final again, and then you get sacked. It'll be sad.
That is sad. Shame.
But
Poor
it'll be
man.
good for Harry Kane because he'll end up with a trophy, the big
Yeah,
one.
and that's what he wanted. That's why he moved. So
Well, we'll see. But looking ahead now, for those out there who don't know, this week is special because it's a double game week, but only for 2 teams. And those teams playing each other in the extra fixture are Luton and Bournemouth. Now, everybody and their mother is thinking about captaining Dominic Solanke. Are you on the Dominic Solanke train, mate?
no,
You're not?
I'm not on the Dominic Solanke train.
Are you having flashbacks to Dennis 2 years ago?
Maybe.
Was it everybody triple captained him and he scored negative?
Bro, I'm having flashbacks to 3 weeks ago as well. Yeah, no, that is true. That did happen. Then you got minus points. So here's the thing. Solanke's been nurturing a knee injury, I think, or a thigh injury for the last couple of weeks. So he's not been at his best. He's also got the lowest expected goals per game out of all the forwards that we've been talking about. What a way for him to prove me wrong, though, because I'm not going to captain him, and then he's going to come and haul points. I know he's got 2
playing
fixtures at home. I know.
And everybody's favorite whipping boys. He's playing Sheffield
But
and Luton at home. Those are,
It's true. It's true. They are. But I have a case for another player who I've brought
who's the
in.
other player?
It's Carlton Morris.
This guy. So you thinking that Carlton Morris, and you replaced who with Carlton Morris?
Erling Haaland.
Okay, can you explain the logic here and how much money you made and lost in this transfer? Because Haaland is sitting at a price of 14.5.
Yeah.
If I was to transfer him out, for example, I would be losing 0.2 million, which is what was detracting me from doing this. I had the same thought, but I want to hear why you decided to kick off the robot and put in.
Carlton Morris.
Is this a game week 29?
This is the Game Week 29 plan. This is the plan. So I'll unveil my secret plan to the world. I don't want to hit my free hit yet. I'm pretty confident that I can navigate the game week with taking -4 and still having everyone play. I want to save that free hit for a moment where I'm really going to need it, even if I don't even play it this season, because it seems like this is the most likely time that most, if like not all, managers will probably play it. But I can manage it. Here's the thinking, is that Haaland has scored and he's doing well, but he's missing chances. I think he needs to reset. So he's probably going to play against Liverpool and he may score. That's fine. But I still think that having Morris or Solanke instead of Haaland, even if Morris scores in blanks, that's still more points than Haaland scored in once. So that's fine. And then they also blank in 29. Who doesn't blank in 29? Morris, Solanke. So therefore, I made the move to take out Haaland on this morning, before there was no price rise. There was going to be, but I decided to do it anyway. I brought in Morris for Haaland. For those of you who don't know, I bought Haaland for 13.9. He's now 14.5. I made 0.3 on him, and I'm pretty sure he's going to drop after the Liverpool weekend because of the blank game week, which means he's going to go down in price again. Maybe not so much, but I made 0.3 on him, so I can afford to bring him back if he goes to 14.3. That's fine for me. So that was my plan. And then I got a double game with Carlton Morris this week, and then a non-blank game week for Carlton Morris next week. So there you go. The game's the game.
Are you thinking that you can field a full 11 without playing a free hit?
Yes.
Is that not going to make your team weaker when we go back to a full game week the next week?
Which is why I'm planning to play a wildcard again on game week 30.
You see, now we have the full picture, because I'm also considering doing some of this maneuvering that you're doing. I'm also considering holding my free hit because there are going to be some good double game weeks coming up now that all these blanks are confirmed. So you want to keep your double game weeks for Man City doubles and Chelsea doubles and Liverpool
Spurs
doubles and
yeah.
Arsenal doubles. You want to keep your free hit for that. But you see, I don't have my wild card. So I can't fix my team after I mess it up. And you can. So you have the advantage here. So I may be doing something similar to you in terms of taking, I'm going to be taking hits, losing some money on Saka, losing money on Haaland, losing money on Palmer to bring in and taking -4, -8 to balance my team. But I also have to keep my eye on the game week after the blank because I can't wildcard my team back in.
Yeah.
So I think you're in a very powerful position to do what you need to do. I'm still half and half about whether I hit the free hit or not because I'm trying to balance out. What I'm doing right now is I brought in Son because he's playing, and I know and that's all I'm doing. And I have Doughty because he's
Good.
playing.
I have him as
I
well.
brought
Yeah.
in 2 players. And next week, I'm going to decide a little close to the time, considering injuries, considering where teams are at. I'm gonna consider either playing the free hit or taking maybe a -8 to bring in some more players so that I field some sort of team. I still feel for the rest of us out there who maybe have played their free hit and don't have their wild card, that if you can field at least 7 players, 5 to 7 players, I
You
think
could get
it's still
40 points, 50 points. Yeah.
the problem is that in a low fixture blank game week, you have too many teams playing each other, and you got Solanke, and you have a Morris for you. You got to ask yourself that like next week, you got to ask yourself, does one of them pop off?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you go to a game that only has 4 teams playing, or 8 teams playing, 4 fixtures. Then you ask yourself, out of those versus Bowen versus Watkins, are points coming from both of them or coming from one of them? If from Spurs versus Fulham, are points coming from Son and Muniz, who is another sleeper pick that people are doing really well with? They have him in your team. Same for Luton, same for Brentford. I mean, I would say I'd lean on Brentford to score and Luton to score. But when it comes to Spurs, Fulham, West Ham, Aston Villa, you kind of sometimes find that one team does well, the other doesn't. One
Yeah.
team gets the bonus points, the other doesn't. So for me, if you're gonna spend your free hit getting 11 people to play, but only half of them end up making points, isn't it the same as bringing in 7 people to play and the right 7 people?
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's a lot to think about. And you make some good points. You make some really good points.
And you may see me pull a similar move to you and bring in Morris, because that is already where my thinking was, that if I'm going to bring in 7 players, I need space for them, and I need to sacrifice cash somewhere. Morris is a good pick for the double game week. Solanke is a good pick. Doughty is a good pick. Any other good double game week players that people should be looking at?
So I was going to take out Van Heck. Actually, no, I was going to keep Van Heck. I was going to take out Botman. I'm going to take -4 this week. I haven't done the second move yet, but my second move was going to be for Kirkes at Bournemouth. Who'll have a double game week this week, and he will not blank next week. The reason why I'd lean towards Kirkes more than maybe Senesi, obviously Senesi's got a bit of a knock, and he's also, I think, 1, maybe 2 cards away from being suspended, and that isn't something you want to have going into a double game week. You don't want your player you bring in to get suspended for the second game and not playing the double game week. That's why you brought them in. So that's why I've looked at Kirkes, and I think Kirkes, he's got a good attacking threat, and I think he can do something. And I mean, out of all the other defenders, I already have Doughty, so he's probably the one that I'm going to be looking at bringing in.
Just be careful, because I think Kirkes is blanking in game week 29, because Bournemouth don't have a fixture. Solanke doesn't have a fixture, so it makes that's why I'm saying you move to bring in.
Well, the thing is, I didn't lose anything, because if I'm taking out Botman blanks anyway, and I wasn't even bothered with Botman.
And you get the double game week fixture of Kirkes. And I think everybody was planning to bring in Senesi. I was too.
Yeah.
And his injury means that if you are saying that Kirkes is the next best Bournemouth player to bring in instead of Senesi, I think that may be a worthwhile pick, especially for you since you're planning on wildcarding anyways.
Yeah.
So, and he's cheap, so he unlocks money on other places. If that's your Bournemouth defender pick, what about... I don't think there's much other places you would look in Bournemouth.
No.
For double game week players.
Look, you can punt Semenyo, I suppose, but I don't know. I'd still say Solanke.
What about Luton? You've been talking up Barkley for a while now, and he's not in your plans for the double?
He is. He's still in my team. He's still there. So let me give you a rundown. Obviously, Barkley's not really done much, and Luton have got terrible form. But hopefully, this double game week they can try and turn stuff around. But I'll run you through my team starting for this weekend as of now. Up front, I've got my vice on Solanke and my captain on Morris. And then I've got Watkins, and then Barkley, Son, Bowen, and Saka. I've benched Foden in favor of Bowen this game week. I know. What is this man cooking? What a surprise. And then I've got Gabriel in the back with Van Heck, Doughty, and then Areola in goal. Van Heck probably won't play because I'm going to move out Botman, who's benched at the moment, for Kirkes. So then I'll swap Van Heck for Kirkes and have a double game week. That means I'll have 1, 2, 3. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'll have 10 extra games because of the double game week. Well, not 10, 5 extra games, which is pretty nice. Taking 11-man squad to 16. So
Can we just focus on something that you said there?
Foden benched.
Foden is benched for Bowen. Okay, can you stop there for just a second? Because I understand Barkley is someone you want to have in your team for the double. But Luton are playing away for home, both of their games. Luton have a very shocking away form. Their home form, Chelsea can't even beat them. They do really well. They're tight at home. You trust in Bowen against Tottenham.
Burnley.
No? Sorry, who's Bowen? Burnley. Okay, there we go. I agree with that one. Bowen against Burnley is a good pick.
Son vs Aston Villa is questionable. Would you play maybe Foden against Son? That's the thing, I'd say.
But choosing Barkley when he's away over a double, I would say Foden has a better opportunity to make points, especially considering that Pep came out this week and said that Foden, he sang praises of Foden.
Yeah, he's the greatest player in the Premier League.
Right now, he said that he's always been good, but now he's added winning games. Foden is going to be very high on confidence. And that's why I think I've settled with the rest of the world on your thoughts finally. I should listen to you from the beginning. Foden and Haaland are the picks going forward as your two Man City picks. Haaland is out of that bracket now because Saka is doing the things. So I don't know. I don't know if this is going to play off for you, but I do know you're thinking because you did punt Bowen. You brought him in when no one thought so. He's working for you so far. You get some more returns in this. It makes that micro decision you made become a macro reward.
This is the thing. I'm trying to pull ahead now a lot. So everyone's going to be playing Foden. No one's going to be playing Barkley. Absolutely no one. Maybe, I don't know, what's his ownership? Let's see at the moment. At the moment, he's 2.3% owned. No one is playing Barkley. Everyone's playing Foden. If this works, you're never going to catch me. Not just you, but no one in the mini league is going to catch me. And feel free to join if you've got more points than me, by the way. Please, I need some competition. No, I'm just kidding. No, but this is my plan. This was my plan from when I brought him in 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, when I told you that I was taking Palmer out for Barkley. And you looked at me funny. And I was like, well, it's about the end game. And I looked and I saw, okay, this is what we've got scheduled. And there's a Luton confirmed double game week. And I'm going to play him. I don't like benching Foden. I just don't know where to play him, considering all the people that I have. And I rate Watkins' form more than Foden at the moment because Aston Villa are fighting for UEFA. So like they have to win, and they're playing against Spurs. Spurs also have to win, I suppose, but that's going to be an insane goal, thrilling game. Don't think there's going to be many clean sheets kept in there. But that's my thought. It may change. But at the moment, that's what my team fielded for this week looks like.
Do you see the controversy, ladies and gentlemen? You see what this guy is doing to us? He's driving us insane. But we've just hit added time, so we're going to wrap things up. Nate, just a last thought for everybody, because it's normally the big question, the burning question, the one that everybody needs to decide on. Who is the captain for this week? Is it Solanke? And you hinted earlier that you had a better captain choice over Solanke. Who is that?
Yeah, Morris? Yeah, Morris.
So I'm going to captain Solanke with 2 home games against Sheffield and Luton. And you say Morris with 2 away games versus Crystal Palace and Bournemouth is a better shout for a captain?
I'm not saying it's a better shout. Now, please, don't misinterpret my words. No. Look, it may change like last minute because I'm going to wait and think. But at the moment, I'm pretty confident with Morris. I have the same feeling that I did when I brought in Bowen. And that's why I've also benched Foden. I just feel like that's the way to go this week. So I'm just going to stick with my gut. It hasn't failed me before. And that's what I'm going to do.
And last thing I'll just say is, if I was looking at a captain who wasn't a double game week player, because there are many instances in double game weeks where single players games outscore doubles, I would say Saka is the best captain.
No one else.
Choice after that.
No one else.
Because Saka is playing home against Brentford. He had a 45-minute rest in that last game, and Arsenal are on point to score another 5 goals.
Brentford also concede goals. They concede goals through the years. And Arsenal just go and score 6-0 and destroy. Like,
I know Chelsea couldn't beat them, but Brentford have their main 4 defenders out injured.
Yeah. So, maybe our captain Saka. We'll see on Saturday.
Maybe our captain Saka. Let's end on that note. Thanks, Nate. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you for game week 29 for the Blank. We'll do a free hit video.
Yes, we'll do a free hit video next week.
Free hit video
for free. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to subscribe. And then I'll show you my team next week, and we'll see if I can manage the pull off based on changes this week. We'll see if I can manage a free hit. Mike will show you his team, see if he can manage this without a free hit. So we'll do a video based on what we would do if you have a free hit and you want to play it, and then we can see if we can do one. If you, maybe we'll throw one of our teams up there for the first time. Ooh. See what you can do if you don't hit a free hit. Planning for a rebalance. We'll see how it goes. But yeah.
Nothing in life is free, even your free hit. So
it costs points.
Tune in next week.
Cool. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you. Take care.
Cheers, guys. Bye.